Okay, cool. So welcome to the HTTP part of this course. So this is just after the routing part. So what we're going to do now is create a mock API, and then what we'll do is we'll get the data and save the data from this HTTP service. Okay. So first thing what we want to do is go into our app module right here, and we want to make sure that we have the HTTP module imported. So as you can see on line 4 right here, I have import HTTP module from Angular HTTP. And the reason why we already have this in is because we started the project from the Angular CLI command line interface. If you started from the documentation, you probably don't have this in yet. So just add this in right here and then add it to the imports array right here down below. And then what we want to do below this is we want to add in our in-memory web API module. So this is basically where our server where we're getting the information is going to live, but it's not actually, it's just going to be in memory. And so yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Let's import this right now. So import in memory was it web API module from Angular 2 in memory web API. Okay, that's looking good. And the reason why we don't, you can see there's an error saying that it cannot find the modules because we don't actually have the module in yet. So we will deal with that just in a moment. If you started this course from the documentation, you most likely have already installed it from your package manager. So you're okay. But we'll do a double check anyway, so it's fine. Everybody will know. Okay, cool. So we have not created this file yet, and we haven't actually installed this into our Node package manager. So what we're going to do is just carry on anyway. And under the HTTP module, what we'll do is we'll call the in-memory web API module .forRoot, and we'll pass in the in-memory data service right there. Okay, cool. So that's good. That's all looking fine. And what I'm going to do is actually just move down the routing just there and add in the comment just there so everything looks good. Okay, cool. Save this. Now, what I want to do is install the in-memory web API module. So what we're going to have to do is, what I'm going to do is just find the dependency that we need. So I navigated to it earlier on right here. And what we need is this Angular 2 in-memory web API. So I'll copy this, jump back to the tutorial, and you guys and girls don't need to do this, just stay on point when I do this right here. Okay, cool. So right, all we're concerned about really is on this side, what we want to do is go to our package.json right here. Where are you? There we go. So click here. And right under, we can just add it at the very bottom actually, in the dependencies right here. Comment. Add that in. Okay, so make sure to type this out correctly right here. Okay, so once you've got that in, you can pause the video and type it in. Save this package.json. Open up the terminal again. So I'll just drag the terminal up here. So open up the terminal, make sure you're in the project root. So I'll list out everything here. Make sure when you type in ls that you're on the same directory file level as the package.json. Okay. And then what I want you to type in is npm install. And now we're installing the Angular 2 in-memory web API from the package.json. So that will be the fresh install right here. So we'll just let that go. And it seems to be taking its sweet time. So we'll just let that go. Oh, there we go. Fetching data. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just carry on while that's downloading and installing dependencies right there. So I'll just leave this at the bottom of the screen right here, so you can see what's going on. Might be a bit distracting, but whatever, we'll just keep going. Okay, so basically what they're saying is, like, we're creating our in-memory data service right here. I'd much prefer to obviously access an API, but we'll just keep going with this. So click here, and I suppose this is just for this tutorial, so it's fine. In-memory data service .ts. Cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to mock heroes right here, close that down, basically copy this out right here, jump back. I'm just going to copy everything really. Jump back over here to in-memory data service, and I'm going to paste in everything, take this out right here, and let's do our imports now. So import in-memory DB service from Angular 2 in-memory web API. Okay, cool, that's looking fine. So let's export this class. So export Okay, cool. So that's looking okay so far. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to create DB, and inside here, and I'll just move that other body tag down below. And I'll format everything nicely in a second, just getting this done here. So we're saying let heroes equal to this list, and then right here we are going to return the heroes. Okay, awesome. So that's looking pretty good. Let's do some nice formatting now. Okay, so that's looking pretty nice. We'll save that, and we'll keep going. So this file replicates the mock heroes ts, which is now safe to delete. So we can delete that file. I'm just going to keep it there because we might want to use it when I'm messing around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the get heroes method and basically change and implement our new HTTP service right here. Okay, so let me see how this thing got on first. Nice one. So we downloaded our Angular 2 in-memory web API. So if we go back to our app module right here, and maybe if I close it out and I open it again, and not a problem, it's all sorted. That's because we downloaded it with the npm package manager, which was pretty awesome. So I'm just going to close that over. I'm going to start up the server again. So ng serve or npm start, whichever one you're working off, minimize that, and it's rolling on its own there. So that's cool. Let's go. I'm going to close this down as well. We're going to go over to our hero service right now. And what we're going to do is make basically a base URL for the web API. We're going to do a mock version of it. So right here, we also want to pass in the constructor. But first, we're going to do a URL. So private heroes URL equals app heroes. Right there, and say mock API. Cool. And so let's just pass in our constructor. And this wants the HTTP service, so we'll import that in above. HTTP is of type HTTP, and what we'll do is we'll import this just below the Angular core. So import HTTP, and we'll do headers as well from Angular HTTP. Close it off. That's all looking good. That's fine. Let's go down to our get heroes method right here, and this is basically what we want to change. So I'm just going to do this out after return. So what we're going to say is this dot HTTP dot get this dot heroes URL, and then to promise, and you can see we are showing an error there. So what we want to do is import that from the RxJS library. So what we can do is import that right here. RxJS is pretty awesome, and when you get used to Angular more, we'll be using it a lot more. And in a way, it just seems like the new wave of like making requests, you know, and getting observables and whatever. So RxJS /add /operator to promise. There we go. So we imported, basically because this is not part of the Angular, you know, it doesn't ship with Angular, so we better import this. So, well, it does actually, but we just need to import it anyway. So, okay, so, and we can see our to promises is working fine. So then let's do the dot then. And then we're going to say response. Response goes into the response.json. I'm going to get the data property on that. But we need to add in the parentheses always after the .json because you're going to have issues if not. Basically just won't convert the data into JSON. And then we're going to handle our errors by doing a .catch. And then we're going to say this dot handle error. And we haven't actually made the this method the handle error method, so we will deal with that. So that's all looking good. Perfect. Now they're saying get your imports, make sure we've imported everything right. We have right here. So headers and HTTP and our RxJS to promise operator we have, which is pretty awesome. So we will just keep going. Then we're extracting the data in the then callback in the promises. The then callback we call .json method of the HTTP response to extract the data within the response. So right here, so we're getting the URLs, we're getting it to convert to a promise, and then once it's returned, then with the response that we get back, we want to convert it to JSON and then basically declare it as a hero array. Okay. And then this is just saying how we handle the errors and stuff. So that's fine. So what we'll do is just below the get heroes slowly, let's make more space there. We will add in our handle error method. So private handle error, and then error of type any, returns a promise. I'm going to console the error. I'm going to say an error occurred. And we're going to say this is the error right here. And they're saying demo only. Okay. Return promise dot reject error. I know I see that error. Just hold on one sec. Error dot message or the error. Cool, that's looking good. This is just the IDE editor support tripping me up there because I definitely did not type that in. And yep, that is looking pretty awesome. So we'll save that. And now, although we've made significant internal changes to our Get Hero service, the public signature did not change. We still return a promise. We won't have to update any of our components that call the Get Heroes method, which is great. So now what they want to do is update the heroes detail. So we can edit the hero's name already in the hero detail view. Go ahead and try it. Type it, and but when we hit the back button, our changes are lost. So now what we're going to do is move on to basically updating the hero's details. So I'm just going to make this a short video and finish this one here, and then we'll carry on in the next video. So let's just make sure that this is running, so we can see that we have to just clear one or two things up right here. So in the in-memory data service line 4, I'll just jump over to that right there, and we will go into right here. Okay, so just looking at that there, what I just need to do is take out the capital I and leave it in as a lowercase I. Save that. And it's nice that we got a nice error showing there, kind of directed us to the right location. And so we let that load up. Recompile, and you click over to the get heroes, and we can see that it's working. We go over here, we go to the dashboard, and we get our heroes slowly. And indeed, everything is working nicely.